After 14 months of speculation, we finally now know the truth about Sheikh Jassim's Qatari Manchester United takeover bid. We're going to look through the information released in legal documents to the Securities and Exchange Commission in USA and discuss how Jassim's bid never proved their source of funds, the exact price the Glazers asked Jassim for to buy Manchester United in full, and much more. This video will explain all the facts we now know about the truth. Let's get into it. It's been a long 14 months for Manchester United fans dealing with this takeover, with Sheikh Jassim's bid, with Ratcliffe's bid, with Glazers, and the shifting goalposts throughout. But now that we've got this information, I want to run through it in a bit more detail. I'm looking at this a little bit differently because we are now talking about legal documents, not speculation, not journalists, no sources. This is about legal documents that have been released. I'm going to run through the information that it gives us that we've kind of been starved of when it comes to this whole takeover process. It's been about smoke and mirrors. Who do you trust? Do you look over there? Do you look over here? You didn't really know where to turn, hence why it ended up turning into such a circus. All right? But these reports, they aren't just reports now. This is based on information released to the Securities and Exchange Commission, which I will run through now. And they detail how the Qatari bid led by Sheikh Jassim never proved the source of funds. Now, what is the Securities and Exchange Commission? Let me run through that to begin with. That is a legal entity set up here, Wikipedia definition for you. Securities and Exchange Commission is an independent agency of the United States federal government created in the aftermath of the Wall Street crash. The primary purpose is to enforce the law against market manipulation. From the US Securities and Exchange Commission website, their mission is to protect investors. They've been set up with 5 commissioners appointed by the president. All right. This isn't just a random article. This is the legal document. Now, of course, the Qataris have denied what has been reported. Sheikh Jassim's camp are saying, hold on, there's stuff left out of that. This is only being reported by Ben Jacobs. Nothing on the Times, the Athletic, BBC, anywhere else. I'll be interested to see if anything actually follows up on this or whether this is hot air. But I'm going to run through what was released in these documents that is so compelling, I suppose. And this is the main crux of it. And what I'm also going to do is run through an actual timeline of what happened, which I think you'll all be interested to find out about Jassim's bids throughout the whole process. According to a new filing, which I've just run through there, United made numerous requests to the Qatari bid to provide customary financing commitment letters, but proof of funding never materialized. And that is a major thing. Throughout this entire process, Sheikh Jassim and the Qatari bid tried to distance themselves from the Qatari state. The 9-2 Foundation was set up. This is a privately backed and privately funded bid for Manchester United. But they never proved it, despite being asked multiple times by the Rain Group in their bid for Manchester United. And when you take a look at the entire timeline of what happened here, it just kind of unravels in front of you, really. So let's explore this. And we go here and we see the timeline. The first bid from Sheikh Jassim went in around about February 17th, $25 per share, and did not include customary financing commitment letters. No proof of funds. Sheikh Jassim then submitted an improved bid worth $28 per share the following month and was told that wasn't high enough. By late April, that increased to $28.54 per share, and still had not provided updated financing commitment letters to support the proposal. It's still no proof of funding. We go down here. The Rain Group held teleconferences with Sheikh Jassim's bid to encourage them to revise their bid and provide proof of funding. An improved deal worth $30.01 per share was submitted on May the 16th, but still didn't provide any evidence of where the money was coming from. And interestingly at this point, is this. The Glazers told Sheikh Jassim and the Qatari bid, if you were to offer us $35.25 per share, Manchester United is yours. That valued Manchester United at £4.55 billion without all the debt on top, which would be roughly an extra billion. Sheikh Jassim did not take up that offer, did not offer enough money, and neither did Jim Ratcliffe, by that sense, by the way. And then you fast forward to May 25th, and again needs to provide sufficient evidence of its sources of financing, and that would be required to consummate a transaction. Then the next bid that comes in from Sheikh Jassim, he made an improved offer on June the 1st of $34 per Class B share, which is more, of course, than the Ratcliffe $33, which has been accepted. However, he only offered $24.81 per A share. And that was less than what he offered before. And also, they were then told that any proposals had to match the offers on the Class A and Class B shares. Class A are the ones publicly owned, Class B are the Glazers ones, to avoid any sort of legal ramifications. Sheikh Jassim never did that. In June and August, they were asked again to provide proof of funding. On July 26th, the Qataris informed United, we're not going to offer you the same value for Class A and Class B. So basically, July 26th is when the Qatari bid completely died. Not that it ever proved any source of funding, but that's when it completely died. Fast forward here to October the 6th. The Rain Group was told that the Qataris were still preparing a revised proposal. And only 9 days later, that's when Sheikh Jassim pulled out of the move to buy Manchester United. So throughout the entire process, the Rain Group, on multiple occasions, across the course of 4, 5, 6, 7, across the course of 14 months, really, asked the Qataris for proof of funding and evidence of the source of that funding. And they never provided it. Now, why would they do that? You can make your own assumptions here, and I'm not going to speculate because we don't need to speculate here. We're just speaking according to the facts that we know. But what happened here is Jim Ratcliffe was willing to pay the same price for Class B and Class A price that the Glazers would agree on. Sheikh Jassim wasn't. Sheikh Jassim also wasn't willing, capable, both, not sure, but to provide the proof of where these funds are coming from. And that is why the Sheikh Jassim bid never got off the ground. All this information that has come out now has shown us that it was never even really slightly close. Without that proof of funding, it's like you going to try and buy a mortgage. If you want to go and buy a house and you just rock up with 400 grand in a suitcase, they're going to ask where you got that money from. You're going to have to prove a trail as to where that money came from. Very standard, let alone in a $1 billion business being bought. But the Qataris never provided it. Full of hot air and noise. That's what the Qatari takeover bid now looks like. Now that we can... The reason I'm doing this video and the reason I've done this video is because I want to sort of close the book on this whole chapter. And now all I want to do is focus on scrutinizing Jim Ratcliffe and making sure that we follow everything that he does. And we make sure that we don't get burned again like we got with the Glazers, because something can be different about this one. But Sheikh Jassim, for all the noise that was made about the Qatari bid and so many United fans who were, some maybe desperate, might be the wrong word to use, but some that were so keen on the Qataris taking us over, they never provided proof or source of funds. And therefore, it's no different than if I decided to ring Manchester United and tell them that I wanted to buy the club. It's the exact same as that. Sheikh Jassim and the Qataris can go straight into the same pile as Thomas Ziliakis and Michael Knighton, as charlatans who I don't ever really truly think wanted to buy Manchester United. And if they did, they certainly didn't prove where that money was coming from.